Hi guys, it's Jody. Today's video, I would like to do a floating bloom. I had a couple of suggestions for the swipes in the background. You know how we do the 4 swipe background of the floating bloom. I had a suggestion to do a couple suggestions to do it a different way, and I'm really interested in trying that. So I want to do that with today's piece, and I want to bring back the color palette, the red, black, and gold, because when we did it with the angry squid, I was like, ooh, that would make a really pretty bloom. I already had that in the back of my head. So that's what I want to do today. So let's go get started. All right, we are going to go over the colors, the cell activator, and then the pillow, and then we will get started painting. So my first color, and you're going to recognize this color palette from a couple of videos ago, but I want to do something different with it. So I've got my Golden Fluid, the Naphthol Red Medium. I had to add a little GAC 800 to it. It was getting a bit too thick. It's still a little bit thick, but we're going to roll with it. So, but this is my Valspar Varathane Pouring Medium Mix. And then I've got my Golden Fluid Iridescent Bright Gold. Got just a little bit left of this. I had to add some GAC 800 to this as well. My paints, it was cold this week, so my paints were kind of seizing up even up here, so I had to add a little bit more, a little bit of the GAC 800, or you can add more varnish if you need to thin your paints out, but this is also Valspar Varathane. And then I've got the Black Umber Jo Sonja, just a little bit left of this. I might need to add a little bit of GAC to that. That's pretty thick. Again, this is Valspar Varathane. They're all Valspar Varathane. So my cell activators, I have 2 of them mixed up, and I am going to use both. I've got my Atelier Interactive Titanium White. This is with Australian Floetrol at 4:1, 4 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint, and then the gold that I love to use, again, Australian Floetrol at 4:1. The 1 part paint is a half a part of the Atelier Interactive Pale Gold, and then the PBO Studio Acrylics Precious Gold, about a half a part each. I eyeball it, but I like that combo together to make this cell activator. And finally, the pillow. I've got a whole container here of my Glidden Premium and Satin, so we're gonna use this today. It's a little bit thinner than the PPG, and I don't mind that. So that is what we're gonna use today. So now we are gonna get started to paint, so let's go paint. All right, for this piece, I have got a 14-inch standard canvas, and what we're gonna do today, we're gonna do a floating bloom, and I wanna do, you know, kind of the swipes in the background, but I wanted to do it a little bit differently. I've had a few of you recommend or mention maybe instead of doing, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, how I swipe and then I bloom in the center, just kind of swiping all the way and, you know, not leaving any white in the center, or, you know, swiping the whole thing before, you know, a few variations of it. And so we're going to try that today. But what I wanted to explain before we did that is the reason I usually would do 1, 2, 3, 4 is because I did want a little bit of white in there for the bloom to kind of appear as though it's floating a little bit, especially if you have a more contrasting background. But now I want to try, we're going to use a different swipe tool, and I'm going to try going 1, 2, 3 this way. So then it'll kind of, the background will disperse and kind of move around along with the bloom as well. So that is what we're going to do today. So I'm going to get this canvas flooded, and then we're going to get started with the swipes on here first. All right, I've got this piece all flooded out, and I showed you my palette, and if it's a different one. This I actually got at Hobby Lobby. It's Master's Touch number 8. But I'm going to load this up, and I'm going to do something a little bit different here. I'm going to just put the 2 cell activators on because I wanted gold, but I don't have enough of my gold mixed with the pouring medium. So I'm going to use just the white and the gold cell activator on here and do the swipes that way. And that's kind of a fun experiment. We're gonna see what happens. So I'm gonna get that loaded up, and I will show you. All right, so I've got the gold cell activator first, and then I just drizzled some of the white on just to be fancy, and we're gonna just see what happens. So I'm gonna go right go right here. So I like what's happening, but you know what? I think I might flip-flop and do it again. All right, I've got them flip-flopped now, and I'm just gonna go right over it. One more time. Now we just have the gold on there. All right, I'm leaving it. We're moving on to the next one. Definitely different than what I wanted, but you know what? We're gonna roll with it. I want to see what happens. I want to bloom now in the center here, and then as all of this stretches out, we may see some more gold in there or not, but I'm kind of digging this. I was having trouble with this one, but then I thought, you know what? We're just gonna see what we see, and I'm kind of digging it. So, all right, now I want to put down the gold for the bloom first, and we're gonna put it right in the middle here, or as close to the middle. Am I in the middle? Yeah. Without having that little white square in the middle when I swipe around it, I can't tell. I think that's pretty much in the middle, but that's good for that. And then I want to put the black umber down next. I thought about putting the black umber in the swipe, but I wanted a really soft, kind of subtle swipe in the background. I'm hoping this bloom will be more bold. And then the red. I don't mind if there's a lot of red. I know this red takes over, but it's just so cool mixed with these colors. All right, I've changed angles. I've got you from the other side because I'm right-handed. My hand gets in the way when I'm putting the cell activator down, so I've put you on the other side. I'm still testing out ways up here in my new studio. So I'm only going to use the white cell activator for this. Since we've got enough gold in the background, we're just going to use one cell activator. And that should be plenty. All right. Not in the middle, floating towards the side. Get that back. No, a little bit. There we go. That blew out nicely. I'm gonna let that fill in. All right, that is filling in really nicely. I've got to take care of something in there. that's better. All right, we had something that resembled an anatomy part we needed to take care of, but now I want to play. All right, that's actually turned out really nice, but it's floating over this way. I want to try and move it back into the center a little bit. That is so fun. I'm excited to see how this turns out. I'm done playing, so I'm gonna meet you over the spinner box and we're gonna spin this out and see what happens. All right, that looks pretty dang neat. I'm really kind of digging the background. I mean, it's super subtle. Hopefully it'll come out a little bit, but I think that's pretty centered. All right, I am going to just, there we go. I'm just gonna give this a spin and then guide it as we go. Ooh. Oof. This is so cool. It's gonna be a little lopsided, I can already feel it, but you know what? I'm okay with it. I've had some pretty cool lopsided floating blooms come out of this. That's all how the paint wants to speak. I'm gonna give it another good spin. Ooh, yeah. Ah, look at how it's opening up. Just gorgeous. I gotta get it to go over this way just a little. Okay. Oops. Wow, that's opening up nicely. That is really opening up nicely. Almost there. Not too much more movement. I've got a problem here though. I've got, it's white. The swipe didn't make it, and a little bit here as well, but not too mad about it. This looks like a little snake right there. I'm gonna give it another good spin. We just don't have, these two petals here look like they're just glowing. Oh, this one went off right here. I don't want to, yeah, it's still moving somewhat, so we're okay. I don't want anything to go too far off. I just want to get this over just a little bit more, just to have it. I'm really digging this color scheme. Color palette. Well, it is. I think we're just about there. I don't mind if it's just a little bit here. I'm okay with this going off the edge as long as other things. This background is really subtle and it's actually really neat. I'm okay with it. Super okay with it. All right. Just a little bit no more. We are just about there. Oh, this is so cool. Just bring this back. I love how everything is opening up. I just want it to be kind of even on there. It's a little bit lopsided, the bloom, but it's so super cool. I just want it to come over. Let's go this way a little with it, if it'll let me. There we go, right there. That's it. That is it. I think it is well balanced that way. Got a little bit of white still showing here, but blends in nicely with the background. It's kind of, the bloom is definitely the focal point. I am completely digging this. That's a winner chicken dinner. I'm gonna get cleaned up and I will bring you over for the flyover of this guy. All right, here it is as a whole. Oh my gosh. The more I look at this, the more I absolutely love it. And I love how the background turned out as well. Such a great tip. And I've got my flash on because there's some really nice shimmers in here intermixed with that gold. I love how this black umber and the red right here, I mean, it just looks like it's glowing. In this petal here, I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. I love this so much. There's a reason that I used to absolutely love this color palette. And I love how these little pullouts are just kind of dancing and next to the petals. Some really neat subtle shimmers. And I'm really digging this background. I wasn't sure how I was going to like all the white cells, but it gives it a really nice kind of texture. That almost looks Tim Burton-esque right there. I have no idea what I'm going to name this yet, but I absolutely love it. It turned out way better than I even imagined, and I love the how I swiped that too. I had a little bit of trouble at the beginning, but it just turned out so awesome. I cannot wait to see how this dries. So I'll be back once it's dried to show you the dried results. All right, here it is all dry. I am so excited for this piece. I just love the background and how we swiped it. I wasn't sure about it at first, but as it stretched out, I mean, it just completely complements the bloom. So I'm going to bring you in and kind of show you more of the details, and it does have some really nice shimmers, and I'll show you that as well. But just diving in, there's that little snake I talked about. But I mean, it just stayed as is, as you saw it wet. All these little swirls and the different variations of colors, and these, oh, I love these, especially those cells. You can kind of see the gold in there. And this petal here just looks like it's glowing. And same with this one. I mentioned it was kind of Tim Burton-esque. But the background is so cool. It almost looks like pebbles with gold in between there. And there is some really nice subtle shimmers with that. That was a really, really neat. And I love how these just kind of go off and make it appear as though it's floating. And these here too. I mean, just, I love this bloom. All right, I'm gonna pick it up and show you the shimmers. All right, you can see all the gold, and if you can kind of see up here in the background, that gold. It's kind of a sneak attack, but just gorgeous. This dried really nicely with all these subtle shimmers. Here's another way it can go. Not my favorite. The first one was my favorite. And another way. This is a nice way too. I kind of like this way and then the original way I had it. Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the orientation. What's your favorite orientation? I'm going to flip you around and give you my final thoughts. That background swipe is just something else. Thank you so much for the suggestions of, you know, just kind of doing it in the middle as opposed to the box I had it in. Originally, I wanted to have white in the center, but I'm kind of digging this now. And I may actually try doing this going forward with other colors as well. We just used the cell activator in this one, and that was pretty neat. So more to come with that for sure. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts were on this piece. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.